Okay, Jody Joyner, our treasurer, is going to take us through our orientation to Zoom process.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Bring you greetings from Austin, Texas. Um, I think we've all probably been in virtual meetings or have participated in virtual meetings at least a time or two over the last few years. So I won't belabor too many items here, but just a few reminders here. Try to mute yourself if you're not actively speaking um, during the meeting. If you have a question or comment, you can always go down to the bottom of your Zoom window, click on the chat button, and you can ask your question there in the chat room. You can raise your hand as well as another option there, or if you find an opening here, you can also just take yourself off of mute and ask your question or make your comment. But we will ask that you're respectful of everyone's time and that we stay on topic relative to the agenda at hand. So, like I said, I think we've all been through virtual meetings a time or two, so I'm not going to belabor too much here, but just a few reminders there on that regard. And then in terms of our consensus making policy, so the Alliance, we have adopted a consensus making uh, policy in terms of making decisions. Um, it's really aimed at deriving the best solution, and the best way forward. Whenever an issue or a proposal comes up, unlike some bodies, it's not strictly just a vote here and the majority moves on. We're going to try to um, solicit the collective wisdom of the group to derive the best idea and solution forward. So as we go through the meeting, if there are issues that come up or proposals that are made, our process is gonna be really as follows. So opening, we'll discuss the topic and try to clarify whatever proposal or issue or question is at hand. Make sure that we have that base understanding. But once that discussion concludes, we'll move on to test for agreement, and that will go in different stages towards agreement. So the first stage is, we'll ask if anyone wants to block the given issue or proposal at hand. If you want to block, that basically means that you feel that the proposal is violating essentially the covenant and mission of the Alliance, and that the group needs to rethink the proposal. And so, with that, a block carries a tremendous amount of weight. And so, be cognizant of the responsibility that it bears there, because it basically says that that proposal will not move forward there due to the block. And so if that were to happen, we'd ask for some clarification on why one wants to block, and we'll try to sort out what issues might be there so we can blend ideas together to come to something that everyone can live with. Assuming there are no blocks here, we'll move to the next test, which will be if anyone wants to abstain or to stand aside. If that's the case, you're saying that you disagree with the proposal, but you don't want to stop the entirety of the group from moving forward with the said proposal at hand. Next, if no one blocks or stands aside, we'll move towards the next test, which would be, does anyone want to express reservations? Meaning you may have some concerns about the issue or the proposal, but you're willing to allow it to move forward and to pass, provided everyone weighs in accordingly. And assuming, there's not too many blocks, not too many abstentions, not too many reservations expressed, there we'll assume that we are in agreement with the proposal, and therefore it can be implemented beyond that point. So, ultimately, all of this is really just trying to make sure everyone's heard, that we can, collectively pull from the wisdom and the best thinking of the entire group towards the solution and proposal at hand. Right. So just a quick summary on our decision making process. I think with that, I'll turn it over to Melanie to go through the minutes from last meeting.
Yes, the minutes from the 2024 annual meeting. Usually we quickly get to a point of agreement about those minutes, and I've reviewed them again today just to see where we are. But if you have looked at them and think, okay, that sounds good to me, then we can by consensus agree to approve these minutes. Is there such an understanding among you, or is there anyone who wants to ask a question first? Well, not heard anything. Anybody? I don't have my full screen up right now.
I don't see any hands up, and so I think we're good to move forward.
Okay, well, why don't we just signify that with hands for whoever is on screen? We good? Yep, good. Sandy, I see you. Yep. Okay, great. I see some thumbs up. Thank you very much. So I think we can move on then.
Right. Thank you, Melanie. And we will toss it back to Jody for the financial report.
Right. Let me share my screen here. 1 second. All right. So from a finance standpoint, there was a report provided in the agenda, so I'll just go through the highlights here of our fiscal standing for 2024. And so from a finance committee perspective, we tend to look at our financial status and in a couple of different lenses to get a pretty good view and a comprehensive view on where we stand. The first one is our net income, just essentially our profit and loss statement, which basically says it's a comparison of how much revenues we brought in versus our expenditures. And as you'll see in this report, there's a lot of green in here. Green meaning, that's good here from an Alliance viewpoint here. So for 2024, our net income was in the positive, nearly $50,000 in the positive when you compare our revenues with our expenses. And that was really driven by, a few different things here. We in 2024 we started a new grant, really a renewal of a prior grant from the Baugh Foundation that took place back in February. Our giving profile certainly improved in 2024 relative to 2023, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. And then, we did a pretty good job of mitigating our expenses for the year. And so, as you'll see, we tend to look at not only our current year or the fiscal year 2024, but we compare that usually with what we budgeted. And then also we do a year-to-year comparison as well. And as you'll see, kind of across the board here, we beat our budget projections, and we surpassed our year-to-year accounting as well. 2023 was a bit of a lean year overall. from a financial standpoint, but 2024 certainly much improved, from that standpoint. When you look at our budget performance, um, our giving profile, our individual giving in particular, is probably the most dynamic piece of our revenue profile. We generally can kind of count into the budget congregational giving. Many churches or alliance churches will budget that, early in the year. And you kind of know at a certain cadence when that is coming in. Grants tend to be on an annual basis in terms of whether they're continuing or renewing or starting anew. Our annual gathering tends to also be, it has a certain cadence to it, but our giving profile is a little bit more, um, it's a little bit more erratic in the sense that even though we averaged over the course of the year about $25,000 a month in terms of individual giving, it certainly varies in the way that it actually turns out. And December in particular, $114,000 was brought in. A lot of people reminded about giving to their friendly neighborhood nonprofit organizations then towards charitable contributions for their tax statements, and then just obviously being aligned with the mission of the Alliance. A lot of our a good portion of our individual giving came in the month of December, certainly outpacing any other month by quite a bit in 2024. But that allowed us to have this surplus here in terms of our net income. So a big thanks to all of you. Big thanks to our development committee and Brett and the co-directors and staff here for kind of helping to make this happen here so that we can do the work that we've been commissioned to do. From a cash basis standpoint, is another lens that you can kind of see where we are financially. At the end of 2024, we ended with just north of $315,000 of cash on hand. That cash is partitioned into kind of different categories here. Operating cash made up about 61% or so of that total, which basically says, aside from any gifts or contributions or donations, just strictly based on our operating cash at hand, we could, leverage and pay for, basically 3 months of typical expenses for for the Alliance, just on average. And we have an endowment set aside that's whose dividends work themselves back into our operating cash just from an investment standpoint. Lots of transitional funds that we have, money that comes in but goes out to designated funds and to our ministry partners as well. So overall, in a solid position at the end of 2024. So for thus far in 2025, the Finance Committee, one of our charges is to help lead the effort towards generating and getting our annual budget approved for 2025, and that occurred at the end of January. Thus far, relative to that budget and based on our financial situation through March, through the first quarter of the year, we are down a little bit in terms of our net income. So our expenses have outpaced our revenues. That was kind of largely due to maybe some unexpected expenses due to the annual gathering in DC. some of those expenses were kind of last minute adjustments for opening up breakout rooms and conference rooms and so forth at the host hotel there, and that created a little bit of an extra expense there. Based upon our giving profile and just our general revenue profile, nothing to be too alarmed about from a first quarter standpoint. We know for the fourth quarter tends to be where much of our revenue comes in from our individual giving participants. So we're assuming that will take place later this year to kind of make up for our current shortfall. But we are obviously keeping a watchful eye on expenses throughout the year, and to try to end up with a balanced budget by year's end. And I think that's pretty much it from a financial report standpoint. I will put a plug out there, since we have a captive audience here, that the Finance Committee, we are 3 members strong, of which one is actually whose term just ends today, I guess, effectively here. So we will be down to two Finance Committee members moving forward for the rest of this year. So we are looking for some help, or anyone who might have a desire to participate in kind of monitoring our finances over the course of the year. This does not have to be a board member filled position there. It's just folks who might have an interest in that. From a Finance Committee perspective, we meet monthly with the co-directors, in particular with Carol, who's our staff liaison from a finance standpoint. Carol does a really good job of generating all of our financial data. If you like spreadsheets, that would be great here to be able to look at those and interpret those here, but it's not a requirement here in terms of filling out or populating spreadsheets in any way. What we do as a committee is kind of take that data, and we meet and discuss where we are, and on a monthly basis, we try to make sure that we are staying on track relative to our budget projections, and trying to forecast ahead as to if there are things that we need to be concerned about or alarmed about from that standpoint. But the Finance Committee is largely an advisory body for that works in collaboration with the co-directors and with the board here on our financial state here. So if there is anyone out there, we are looking for 1, 2, maybe even 3 folks that could come on and kind of lend their insight into the collective wisdom of the Finance Committee there. And so if you are interested, feel free to let me know, or Lisa or Carol, any of the executive committee or the board members and staff, and let us know what we can get you plugged in. Carol, help me if I've left anything out or forgot anything, but otherwise I think that's kind of the state of the world from a finance standpoint.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that, yeah. And if anybody on this call wants to come hang out with James and Jody and I, we would love to have you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
Jody. Appreciate that report.
Yep.
I will now turn it over to our co-directors, Carol and Elijah, for their report.
Good afternoon. It is good to see you all today. I am glad to be with you. Elijah and I have sort of split this report up, and while I don't think it'll go in order, I think that you will still get to hear everything. So I'm going to start out with the staff positions. As I said to the board when we met a few weeks ago, we are a small staff, And it takes all of us to do all of this work. We do each focus on particular areas, but we support each other in all that we do. So occasionally we step into other areas. That's just the nature of being a small organization. But our primary focus areas, Brett Harris focuses on development and social media. So I'm sure that you all have heard from Brett in one communication form or another recently. He's a large part of the reason Jody is able to say we had good income last year. So I'm grateful to Brett. And he also keeps you up to date in our social media, spreading good words and also sharing other posts. Stephanie Cooper, who I think is online with us today, oversees all of our communications as well as supports clergy. Stephanie makes sure that we stay in contact with all of you without overwhelming you. April Baker, who I'm sure a lot of you know, focuses on partnership relations. And April stays in contact with our ministry partners and supports the board committee that oversees partnerships. So I'm sure you have seen April with our partners as they have joined us at annual gatherings and other events. She just has a unique passion for folks working in their own context to better this world. Alexis Tardy is the newest member of staff, but not really. Alexis started a couple of years ago working with the Thrive congregations, as well as the sociologists. Gerardo is online as well today. I'm glad to see Gerardo listening. We have recently asked Alexis to work with Alliance congregations, all of them, not just Thrive congregations, to be in connection with both the Alliance and each other. Christy Pullen works to support all of us, but primarily communications. And Lily White was our intern since August of 24. And she is now graduating seminary. She has finished working with us, but you would have seen her work if you were at the annual gathering. She did all of the logistics. She is just so organized and sees hospitality through the lens of justice. We will sorely miss Lily. So the details of our work are very, very important. And this staff that I just listed out is the culmination of years of the Alliance working towards cultivating a kind of collaborative staff and leadership that eschews the power plays of hierarchical systems and instead values common commitment and collective work. That is a lot of big words to say we really work hard together and we value each other's work in a way that I've never experienced before, and I'm grateful for it. So I'm moving on to the Racial Justice Task Group. I don't know how many of you know this, so if you've already heard it, I apologize. So the board of directors put together a task group in 2019 to address our systems and processes and make suggestions about what changes needed to happen to support our call to be on the journey of anti-racism. So just prior to the pandemic, this group got together in Rock Hill and spent a few days on retreat together, strategizing. By 2021, there was a list presented to the board and staff of a summary of 116 items that came from that racial justice task group that we were to begin working towards. The staff refers to this list affectionately as the 116. We read through it every so often. We think about our plans and then make sure that we are still leaning into the 116. For example, number 1 under gatherings and events section says, events include anti-racist education and transformation. So you have seen that in the annual gathering for the last few years. Another is that we are to send Alliance staff to Proctor Conference each year. we have done that. And this list guides our plans for the future and continues to encourage us to have really good conversation about who benefits from everything that we do. There is a lot in the 116 about encouraging and equipping congregations to do their own anti-racism work. This is where Thrive comes in and the hiring of Alexis. The work of the 116 will ebb and flow with different staff configurations, and it will guide our work for a long time, as we have learned that you don't become anti-racist, you join a journey of folks and organizations that want to be anti-racist. Before I hand it over to Elijah, I will update you briefly on Thrive. Thrive is what I've already referred to a little bit. It's the grant we received through Davidson College from Lilly. And this is for the sociologists, which include Gerardo, and 25 Alliance churches to work together on their own anti-racism work. So 2025 is the last year of the grant. So we have received our 2025 money. The sociologists are working towards sending out final evaluations, and Alexis is continuing the work with the congregations through 2025. In early March of this year, a group of board and staff leadership met with the sociologists to strategize about applying for the grant again. So there is the possibility that we could get another 5 years and add some more congregations. Everyone feels confident that Lilly is happy with our work and is encouraging us to continuing it, while also asking us before they actually grant it to us how we will do that and what changes we might make. So Lilly is doing their due diligence, but they've already let us know that they appreciate the work that we're doing. So we are grateful for that. And now I'll ask Elijah to speak to you a little bit.
Thank you, Carol, so much for sharing that update. And it's really good to see all of you again as well. Some of you I saw very recently, and others of you hope to get the chance to see recently. As Carol has noted, and hopefully as you can see, that the Alliance continues to be on the move. The Alliance continues to be committed to our values, committed to our covenant, and committed to being that voice and presence that's so needed in our country and our world right now in the ways that we have been for a very long time. Carol talked a bit about the 116 recommendations that come out of the Racial Justice Task Force, and she highlighted a particular one, and I would like to expand a little bit more on that, which was to use our gatherings to be a space of anti-racist education and transformation. You know, the annual gathering that we have is the one time where we try to all get together as an Alliance body. And for the last 3 years, since I've been in the position of co-director alongside Carol, we've really tried to make the annual gathering that primary space for anti-racist education and for transformation. And I think this year was no different. I think in many ways it was a culmination of that. Our theme was I Met God and She's a Black Woman. And it was an opportunity to engage with the theological, biblical, moral, spiritual, and poetic tradition that comes out of the lived experiences of Black women, known as womanism. And this theme, as we said before, and as we said during the annual gathering, and probably is worth repeating here, is that the womanist tradition is not an exclusive tradition, but it allows us to see a bigger portion of the world from the perspective of a group of people who have been so much on the margins of this society, of this country, but they help to teach us about broadly the experiences of women, broadly the experiences of Black folk, broadly the experiences of queer folk, broadly the experiences of all those people who have been oppressed. And so this is why our key speaker for the annual gathering this year, Dr. Will Gaffney, a Hebrew Bible scholar, said in her book and in a few of the talks that she gave that womanism is an invitation to eat supper at the table of Black women's abundance. And I think it's a powerful imagery. And I think this is a part of what we did at that gathering, where we engaged with the biblical hermeneutic of Dr. Will Gaffney, where we got to learn about the power of the Black Madonna, both in medieval times and in contemporary times through the work of Dr. Christina Cleveland. We got to hear some brilliant preaching from Dr. Gabby Wilkes, from Reverend Dr. Leah Grunstead Davis, and as well from other really great preachers and speakers. And so for everyone who was able to participate, we thank you for your participation, and we will continue to post some of the sermons, the lectures, the lessons, the nuggets that have come out of that as we continue to recognize the importance of being shaped by this tradition, among other traditions, as we further move on this journey. Let me say one more thing about the annual gathering. We were talking a little bit about finances. The staff and the volunteers who helped to make this happen, the church, Riverside Baptist in DC this past year, that helped to make it happen, put a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of imagination, a lot of creativity, a lot of hope, a lot of prayer into this event, because it's more than an event. It's an opportunity for us to be together. And we, I think, are the type of people that take being very seriously. And so one of the things that we know and have continued to notice, right, is that it costs money for us to get together. It costs money for us to get together in these particular ways. And so, as we continue to move forward and have these opportunities to be together, something we'll have to keep thinking about is how do we continue to afford to, how do we continue to pay for these really rich, important gatherings? And so your contributions, your support, right now, our gatherings are very, very, very economical, and that's part of how we sometimes end up in this place where it shows up as a negative number on our budget. But these are some of the things that we're thinking about as we move forward. Our gatherings are also a really good opportunity for us to engage with our ministry partners, both our domestic ministry partners and our international ministry partners. And as you all know, the Alliance continues to play an important role supporting the ministries of so many other like-minded organizations around the world. I'll say a little bit more about why the around the world part is so important right now. But we continue to engage with and have interfaced this year again with our partners from the Republic of Georgia. Carol was able to meet with Marcus earlier this year for a screening of an interfaith, a documentary that he had. We were able to, I was able to travel to Cuba and meet with the members of the Fraternity of Baptist Churches of Cuba. They hosted me alongside April. It was a very powerful experience to worship in a number of their churches, to get to meet and teach their young people about my own biblical theology and liberation theology. It's a really transformative experience that I was able to have back in November. We were able to see members from FIBAC also at the annual gathering, as well as engage with our partners from Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe Baptist Theological Seminary. Reverend Muno was here at the annual gathering, and it was a good opportunity to interface with him. We continue to be in touch with our partners in Brazil and in Mexico and in Uganda as well. And so we continue to talk with and engage and spend some time with all of these partners and your support of the Alliance continues to allow for those relationships to maintain and for the work of justice to really continue in those specific contexts. I also want to say that this past year, one of the other things that we did is that we gathered again in Montgomery, Alabama. We took another pilgrimage to the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which was created by the Equal Justice Initiative and Brian Stevenson. We had about 75 people join us for that. Many of them were people not reflected on this call. It was almost a completely new group, but I think that was really powerful because it shows the outreach that the Alliance is making. We went to the museum. We went and saw the monuments to people who had been lynched. We heard some powerful teaching and had some worship as well. And it was a really important space for us to configure and continue to be together. Lastly, like all of you, we live and minister and work in the world around us. And I'm sure, as you all know, that since January of this year, the political climate has impacted the social, political, theological, economic, educational landscape that we all live in. And that's very tough in terms of everything we do at the Alliance. I was recently at an event and a friend walked up to me and she simply asked, "How are you doing? Because what's happening is basically goes against everything you stand for." And very few people had put it so clearly, but I think what's happening in the world basically goes against everything we as an organization stands for. There are attacks on freedom of speech. There are attacks on freedom of religion. There are attacks on the right to protest, to dissent against issues that you find morally outrageous. There are attacks on every single entity and group that sees the world differently than our current administration. And these attacks are not just with words, they're often with actions, often with legal implications in the instances of people who have dissented politically, with implications for their freedom. And so it goes without saying that we're living in some very trying times. Very trying times. And as a prophetic organization that also holds a 501c3 status, we're monitoring these very challenging times as closely as possible. There's a lot to hold right now. I say this to say that, a lot of our work today and these past few months has just been trying to survive this world, trying to figure out how to hold on to all of the parts that we have so that our people are good. I mentioned earlier, and I'll wrap up in a second, but this is important. I mentioned earlier that we were able to have our partners from Cuba join us for our annual gathering back in March. In the weeks leading up to that, there were constant threats that there was going to be an executive order banning travel from Cuba. And so to get them here, we had to get them here a week before annual gathering, and it disrupted their lives and their families, but their commitment to being with us was such that they were willing to do that. This is the type of stuff that we're working on, that we're thinking about every day. We've been in the background working with partner organizations from Church World Services to the BJC to the National Council of Churches as they try to fight with litigation, as they try to work through media, they try to work through lobbying to put an end or limits or brackets around some of the most egregious aspects of the legislation and policy that's coming from the federal government right now. And as Carol began with, we are a small organization. We're connected to all of you, and that's really powerful. But in terms of the day-to-day, 8 of us are trying to navigate this rapidly changing country as best we can. And so the other part of it, while being faithful and integral to our prophetic voice and our prophetic commitment and our prophetic witness, is also about being honest about the limitations that we as an organization have, especially right now. We're committed to being partnered, to being aligned, to raising our voice as often as we can. And I think it's worth noting that we also are really paying attention to what's happening, because this change is a little bit different than some of the changes that have occurred before. We pray and hope that you all will continue to be conversation partners with us, that you'll be engaged with us in a lot of the work that we do, and that together we'll remain on this course. I wrote you all in February or so saying that, look, the best way that we can continue to raise our prophetic voice is to keep doing what we're doing, because we are connected to people all across this country and are all across the world who are very much in the trenches. And our moral, theological, and vocational obligation remains to them. And it may look a little bit differently than what you expect. I pray that you all stay engaged, that you stay encouraged. I think I've used up an adequate enough amount of time. And I look forward to the opportunities to continue to serve and to engage with all of you in the year that's before us.
Thank you, Elijah. I believe it was Dr. Cujo Wilkes at the end of her sermon when she asked, "Are you with us? Are you with me?" And we continue and will continue to ask that you be with us as we do this work. But I know Carol has to leave, but before you do, I want to just, and I'm going to say it again at the end, I am so appreciative to the 2 of you and to the staff for the work that you do, for the shield you put up to protect the executive committee. I know that you deal with a whole lot that that you don't necessarily share with us, and you try to manage. When you need us, you reach out and let us know. But I am keenly aware of the challenges that you face and that this time that we're living in presents. And so I just want to try to take every opportunity I can to let you know that I appreciate you, that the executive committee appreciates you, and I believe this body appreciates the work that you do. And each year, this gathering gets better and better. And I said at the gathering, if you were not there and did not and have not viewed the videos, I really encourage you to go take a look. Most of us who were there had to go back and watch the videos to allow some of what we heard the first time to sink in. But it was extremely powerful. So Carol, Elijah, just thank you. I did say at the at the end of the gathering that the only way I saw for us to top this year's gathering was to invite Jesus Christ himself to be our keynote speaker. Now, if Elijah and Carol pull that off, I don't know what I'm going to say about that, but it was it was an absolutely fabulous gathering, and I've heard nothing but great things from everyone. So thank you all for all the work that you do. Carol, thank you. Elijah, thank you. And please make sure you thank the staff for me. So
Thank you. We will, and it might be worth it to bring Jesus just to see your face. That would be. Do you mind if I go ahead and do the audit report
oh
so that
no,
I
go
can?
right ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. And Sandy, I'm sorry to jump ahead of you. So I am sitting at Oakhurst Baptist Church right now, and the reason is because I need to go downstairs to attend the funeral of David Odom. So I'm going to need to leave the meeting early. I don't know how many of you know David. He's been at Oakhurst a long time, very, very involved in the Cuba ministry. So that might be why some of you know him. The audit. So the 2024 audit is, I received the draft financials yesterday. Denise Hilliard is our auditor. I sent them all to the audit committee, and everybody was good with them. Denise and I are still working up a few loose ends. And as soon as the audit is in final form, we will put it onto the website for any of you who want to see it. But there were no issues. She had some good questions about our designated money, but we didn't do anything wrong. And so I'm grateful to the audit committee for supporting us in this work, but I really like this auditor. She is extraordinarily thorough. I've never worked with somebody who's quite so OCD. I really, really like it though. So I'm glad she's in our midst, but I wanted to tell you that it's done and that all is well. And I'm grateful to those of you who can stay for the rest of the meeting, and I will watch the recording.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, bye.
Goodbye. Before we move on, and I did not ask him, but since he is with us, and such a huge part of the work that we're doing right now, Gerardo, I wanted to just give you a moment if you'd like to say anything, or if you don't, that's cool. But if you would like to share anything, please feel free.
Thank you, Lisa. I will not be taking any of your time, only to say thank you, gratitude to all the people that we've been working with, especially the churches that have made such an outstanding commitment to the work. And it has been wonderful, and very pleased that Lilly Endowment is quite happy with the work that we've been doing and inviting us to continue for another 5 years. And that's it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Gerardo, and thank you. Thanks to Mark and Kevin also. They do a lot of work very quietly, but efficiently and effectively. So thank you very much. We will now turn it over. I think Sandy, I believe you're going to be doing the development report.
Yes, I am. So I just want to start by saying thank you again to Carol and to Elijah. I mean, they are leading us and such a small staff. We're just so blessed to have you, and thank you. So I'm honored to give this report. It's for Brett. Again, he's part of the staff that's doing a magnificent job. You also have the report attached, so I'm just going to give a little summary of it. Brett says, I'm grateful to share some truly positive developments on the fundraising front. For the first time since 2021, we not only raised enough to cover our expenses, we actually exceeded the previous year's revenue. That's an important milestone, especially given the uncertainty we all continue to face in this country and across the world. While finances and fundraising are not the indicator that proves we are on the path which God continues to lead us, the reality of our financial position in 2025 and all the uncertainty facing our nation and our international partners provides a glimmer of hope and a push to keep going, to keep following this path on which God is leading us. In 2024, we realized approximately $818,000 from 381 donors, which allowed us to end the year with a surplus of over $48,000. That's a significant turnaround after 2 years of deficits, and it's a testament to the power of the renewed relationship and clear communication of our mission. We did see some donor lapses. 140 individual donors totaling around 48,000 and 14 congregations, including 2 Thrive partners, did unfortunately drop off. But overall, I believe the key drivers of our success were a renewed and intentional thank you process, a more authentic and transparent message about the challenges we're facing, stronger articulation of our impact and value, and efforts to grow matching gifts and rebranding our monthly giving program. That said, we're still working within the limits of the development budget, and the constraints on time and travel remain real. I haven't yet been able to meet with donors or congregations beyond my immediate area. Something I hope changes in 2025, because we all know relationships are the foundation of sustainable giving. Looking forward, I'm exploring new grant opportunities and refining our approach to funders, especially as we work to show what a Christian organization committed to anti-racism looks like in practice. After our recent retreat in Davidson with the board and the Thrive partners, I'm more energized than ever about the potential to expand our work with the Lilly Endowment beyond 2025. In closing, I want to thank each of you for the role that you play in this ministry. Fundraising isn't just about dollars. It's about people, relationships, and staying faithful to the mission. And I'm honored to continue walking this path with you. Thank you. And that's from Brett Harris. If you have questions, I'm willing to take them.
I don't see any hands or hear any voices, so I'm going to assume there are none. Sandy, I know you've had a hand in helping with development, so I just appreciate the work that you and Brett and the committee have done. You guys have done a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Fabulous job. And I too hope that there is an opportunity for more congregational visits.
Yes.
I've tried to visit congregations, Alliance congregations when I travel, and just having somebody show up is usually just a thrill for them. My last excursion, I got to hang out with Joanne and Jolly Davis at Broadneck Baptist Church, somewhat close to me, but it's wonderful. And the congregations that I've been able to visit here in the DMV, the few in Kentucky, it's just really, and it's just a refreshing experience for me. It's a refreshing experience for them to have someone show up from the Alliance. So Sandy, I too hope that we can get the development, Brett, you guys moving a little
Yes.
bit
Yes.
in the future. I think it'd be really, really worthwhile.
Yes.
So thank you.
We're meeting and we're working toward giving even more. I'm just looking at how we can be even more helpful, impactful.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now I will turn it over to Isabel DeCampo, who I am excited for you to hear about. She has done some remarkably marvelous things, if you can even put those two words together. Just remarkable things with the nominating committee. And so, Isabel, it is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I'm a little humbled by your words. It was really a team effort. When I say it's a team effort, I have a really great dream team on at the nominating committee. And I listed them in the report if you have a chance to thank them. They worked hard and they worked diligently on your behalf. And that's why I think I'm very proud of the slate that we have today for you. So what we did is we spent some time thinking about our work, and we worked with Lisa and Chris, the president and vice president, and with our two co-directors. And we developed some guiding principles to help guide our work. We thought about, what are we inviting people to serve? You know, what are we inviting them to? You know, what are they committing to? What is the vision? So we just came up with these principles. We made them available to the membership at large. You were able to then use those principles as you thought carefully about who you wanted to nominate. We got beautiful nominations, so many we had to say, well, maybe next term, you know, you can come back. And most people understood that we had more. But it was beautiful to see the members respond that well with these beautiful candidates. We use those guiding principles, and it gave us some uniformity in how we spoke to each candidate. And we also created an information packet so that each candidate could really understand who the alliance was, have it in writing, think about it, think about the principles, and prepare for the interview. And then we had to choose, you know, a slate from there. But that is the work that we did. That took a lot of time, but I think it was very well worth it, because the fruit was this beautiful response from the membership at large with wonderful candidates. And so I just want to thank you for participating in that, and for you know, reading those principles, and for submitting candidates for us. So thank you, membership, for doing that work. So that's the report of how we spent our time. And we also created a process and a timeline. So we had, you know, benchmarks and times and things like that. So to kind of order our process. So do I need to present the class now, or is that just in the report, or how do you want me to do this, Lisa?
We do need to present the new members and basically.
And vote on that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so in case you don't have the report handy, for the class of 2025 to 2028, we have Erica Saunders, who is going to serve a second term. Wendell Griffin from Arkansas, also to serve a second term. We have Sandy Washington, what you just heard from her, to serve a second term. We have Maria Clara Suarez Pereira de Carvalho from Princeton, New Jersey, and from Brazil, and she's going to serve her first term. We have Michelle Nickens, who's going to start a first term, and we have Rebecca Olmedo, who's going to start her first term. And that's all I have. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, and thank the crew. All right. We do need to vote on our new members, new board members. And I'm just going to make this real simple. They did attend our board meeting that we had at the gathering. They did not stay for some portions of our meeting. It was we had an executive session with the board, just the board, so they did not stay for that. But they did attend the larger board meeting and are extremely excited and ready to jump in. Melanie, did I see you raising a hand or something?
I just wanted to underscore it was remarkable to have the 3 new people show up in the ways that they did, both on email connection and then throughout our board meeting. So I think that Isabel, I think you guys have really launched onto a new way of doing things that is the standard for the future. So thank you.
So we do use the consensus model, but I'm just going to throw it out here and ask if there are any objections to our new members, new board members coming on, Maria Clara, Michelle, and Rebecca. Seeing none, I don't see them I don't think I see any of them online with us today. But I welcome them as a part of
Rebecca's here.
Oh, Rebecca. Okay. Oh, Rebecca, I'm sorry. There you are. I couldn't see you. All right, Rebecca, welcome. We're excited to have you all join us. Oh, you're muted. You're still muted.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm so excited and so honored to join you. And as someone wrote in the chat, I am just so thankful for the Alliance and its prophetic voice, and especially in the times that we're living. So look forward to serving with you.
We're excited. So, and we will get you serving soon.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to move on to a call for any new or unfinished business. I don't believe I couldn't find any, but if if there is any new business, any new calls for community, we can entertain them here. You mean we're all caught up? Nothing hanging out there lagging? Well, that is great. Okay. All right, we are due for we're a tad bit ahead of time. Well, we're probably right on time. We're due for a 10-minute break. Let's go ahead and do that. I have 2:10. If we can come back at well, let me ask, and maybe by show of hands, Melanie, you can help me. Do you want to take a break? Do you need a break, or we've got I think the balance is fairly short. The balance part of our meeting is fairly short. We can take a break or continue on. Well, continue on. I see Elijah going, continue. I see this happening. Okay. All right. We will continue on. If you need to step away, please, by all means, feel free. I'll tell you, I think I am going to well, a reminder on statements. For any statements that anyone would want to submit, we do need them 60 days in advance so that they can be reviewed and submitted for approval to the board of directors. There is a process that we have, and if anyone needs that, we can make sure we get it to you. But as of for this particular meeting, we did not receive any statements from anyone. So if you'd like, if there is an issue that you'd like yes, if there is an issue that you would like to present a statement on, just please make sure you give us 60 days prior to the board annual meeting for us to be able to review it and get it to the board to review. All right, Elijah is going to take the justice and advocacy update.
Yeah, so Carol Blythe, who has been a volunteer leader on our justice and advocacy issues, isn't here today. Her report, her very thorough and detailed report, is attached. You can see, I won't read through all of it, but I want you to know that it's there to look at it. I heard that someone saying that they're having issue with viewing it. So if you have an issue with viewing now, we'll make sure that everyone has full access after this. But I just want to highlight a couple of things from that report. So the Alliance has participated over the past year in at least 25 statements, letters, or endorsements at the federal and state level. We've been very, very active around a number of the issues that we care about in terms of creation, immigration, justice for Palestine and Israel, Cuba issues. But we've really spent a lot of time trying to raise our voice in terms of the suffering, ongoing genocide in Palestine. And we've really have been trying to work with the Biden administration. We wrote letters to President Biden, to Secretary Blinken, in terms of opening up relations back with Cuba. They were able to do that for a week between the Biden administration and the Trump administration through some of the advocacy of the Alliance and organizations like the Alliance. We even met with a representative from the State Department at the annual gathering this year to talk about our partner relationships with churches in Cuba, and our Cuba friends were able to meet with that representative and speak directly to them about their experiences of religious liberty in Cuba, saying that they have religious liberty in Cuba. It's often the argument made against them that they do not have religious liberty in Cuba, and our pastors from there were able to say very directly to State Department officials that they do. And so that was really important. We signed on to documents that asked for an extension of TPS for Haitians. We've signed on to documents that have asked for the ceasing of U.S. support to the destruction of Gaza. And so all of those statements and advocacy efforts that we have been a part of are listed on that document. Please know that throughout the year, Alliance people are showing up places, are trying to have our voices heard. One of the things that Carol always says is that because our organization's name starts with an A, we're often listed at the very top. And so we're very proud that we can put either the signature of the organization or sometimes my signature or Lisa's signature on top of documents or letters that go to people in positions of power. There's also a plug that I receive that one of our congregational partners, Myers Park, will be having an initiative on aging that will feature Mayhem Seiler and Gary Hudson and a few others to help some of our members with the process of transitioning from being a senior to an elder. And we can provide more information on that. I think it already happened, but it was a success, and I think they're going to keep doing more things. But please read the report so you can see all of the things that the Alliance is involved in, and all of the ways that we're trying to advocate for a better world through the formal public policy process right now.
Thank you, Elijah. And for JPI, neither Leslie nor Allison could be here today, but their report is attached. And what they really wanted highlighted were the new churches, or I'm sorry, the new communities that came into the fold as of 2024. The list includes those from 2023 also, but 2024, and then there are a couple from 2025. And you can just take a look at that. Oh, I see a hand. Hang on one second. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. I just wanted to underscore the work that Carol Blythe and others have done. Elijah, you said something like 20 or 25. Looking at it as I did earlier and just verified, from last spring to last fall, there were 20 letters that we signed on to. And from last fall to this spring, another 25. It's 45 in a year. And the quality and quantity of what the Alliance is doing makes me more proud than ever. I just want to make sure people realize this is really a very big part of what we're doing. And thank you.
Thank you, Dick, for underscoring that. And yes, Carol is working nonstop on our behalf. So thank you for just underscoring that for us. Let's see, we are at the recognition of our outgoing board members. We have two, Rodney Macias and Aretha Fluker. Their time with us as board members ends as of this meeting. So I don't believe either are on with us, but I do want to thank them for their service, for the help that they have provided. Rodney worked with, was a part of the finance committee, and Aretha worked with the audit committee. And so we just are just very appreciative of the time and the effort and the energy that they put into helping us be who we are, and the work that they did. I see now why you all said, let's just go on. I have to apologize. I was very late in trying to get the executive committee report done. I do have it. Much of what I have really has been reflected through the conversation today. So I will not rehearse this, but I am going to send it to Stephanie to include when she sends out next communication regarding the updates to the recap of this meeting. There are a couple of things. Much of the work that we as the executive committee do continues year to year. So staff support, participating on committees, there's certain things that we just continue year to year, which I'm not going to rehearse right now, but they will be in the final report. One of the things that we have began in 2024 was looking at some of our policies and procedures. Many of our policies and procedures are extremely dated, and just given the world that we're in, the space that we're in, and just making sure that our policies and procedures are relevant today. We have begun a review of those documents. Nothing too earth-shattering yet, but it will continue well after my time, I do believe. But we are just taking a look at some of our documents, our policies and our procedures. We did and this actually occurred, we kind of finalized it at the gathering for the board meeting. I have been working with several people, several previous board members, and Courtney Pace, who is one of our current board members, just taking a look at our bylaws, making sure we were in alignment with them at the board meeting at the gathering. Courtney did a review of the bylaws with the board members and the staff, and the co-directors, and I'm thinking it's probably something we need to start looking at implementing on a yearly basis, just so people are familiar with it, that it stays present in our minds, that the EC is not the only four people looking at the bylaws, and that as board members in particular, we're all familiar with what the bylaws dictate. I asked Elijah for this very late, and thank you, Elijah, for getting it to me. There are 3 new congregations that have joined the Alliance: the Tabernacle Fellowship of Birmingham, Alabama, Baptist Church of Westchester, and Peace Cathedral, Tbilisi. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out and welcome to the Alliance family. As I mentioned, I visited several congregations, about 9 different congregations between Virginia, DC, Maryland, and Kentucky. And one really big thing that I want to take a moment here to do is thank Melanie Nagowski. Melanie jumped in to serve as secretary when Andrew Gardner stepped down, and she had to come in, hit the ground running. We kind of borrowed her in a sense from personnel, but what we found is that having Melanie as a member of the EC and personnel, it almost closed the gap for us that we were really just, we didn't even realize was there. So she brings her insight from personnel and shares it with us. And then of course she takes the things that are happening with the EC that need to go back to personnel, back to them. So it's been a really, really good relationship. And Melanie, I just thank you so much for saying yes, not to the dress, but to us. And she has been absolutely fabulous. So thank you so much for just stepping in and being willing to kind of share your time. one of the things that I have learned from this experience with Melanie, as the EC, I do think that we need to make sure we are working a little bit closer with our committees. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversations and the hard work, and I have a new appreciation for the work that the Personnel Committee does. And so as we move into 2025, one of our goals as the EC is to make sure that we're connecting with all of the committees so that we kind of have a better idea of what they're doing. Isabel and the nominating committee, I was floored at the work that they were doing. And so to be able to sit in and see and hear, it really gives you a deeper appreciation for the work that each of these committees is doing. So Melanie, thank you. And I'm trying to hit things that we haven't hit before. I do think that is going to be it. I will put this together in a little bit. Stephanie said she could get it in for us for this meeting, but it's not exactly in publishable format yet, but it will be here shortly. So that is really all I have at this particular point. I do want to say just a little bit about, and Elijah, I may pull on you some here if there's anything that you want to add. In regards to our commitment to anti-racism and equity, Article 2, Section 2 of our bylaws says this corporation has an explicit commitment to the values of anti-racism and equity throughout its mission, governance, workplace, and relationships. These values are codified in an anti-racism and equity policy adopted by the board. And number 1 says, brief comment, reference, oh, that was my thing. Number 1, brief comment reference, the work ahead and some of the challenges that we are under. It is a matter of urgency for us to be able to support our congregations in sanctuary cities. There is a lot, we all know what's happening in terms of immigration, the illegal acts that are taking place. And so I just want you to know that that is also something that is on our plates. Making sure that our congregations feel supported, that we have some resources in place that will help them if needed. And just looking at how rampant some of these ICE raids are, it's just really important to me, and I think important to us as the EC, that we make sure that everyone who is within our fold feels supported and knows that we're here. I will be honest, and I always tell you this, I don't always know that I can resolve or that we can resolve every issue, but we can always stand with you and will always stand with you in support and in prayer. So Elijah, I don't know if you want to add anything, or I just want to, we're trying to put some things together so that we have the available resources we need should any of our congregations need any assistance. And once those things are a little bit more solidified, we'll share them with you. But please know that that is definitely top of our priorities right now.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add. It's something that we're working about, something that we're thinking about. And as I said, in our staff report, we're monitoring the impact of the political situation on us as an organization and on the organizations that we're connected to, including our churches.
So I will open it up for any questions, any comments, if anyone has any thoughts. I believe we have completed our agenda. Yes, Dick.
wanting to monopolize that there's one issue that does not have a simple solution. I know it relates to money and that's looking better, but that is the severe possibility of staff burnout. Can you tell me anything that's happening that might ease my fears a bit on their behalf?
Elijah, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I think thank you for the question. I think we're in constant conversation with the board about the capacity and pace in which the staff works. And we try to I would say have a reasonable understanding of what's within our limits and what's not. I think it's a constant conversation and negotiation. And I do really appreciate the question because it's an excellent team, but we obviously are very, aware of everything happening in the world. And I think part of it is a recognition that for as much as our heart is committed to being the most prophetic organization we can be, we have a limitation of capacity as individuals, as a team. And so we're in constant conversation with each other, with our partners on the board and the executive committee about that. And it does help for you all to know that and to honor that and to respect that and to think about that when we aren't interfacing. So thank you for the question, really, Dick.
Dick, let me just tell you, this crew that we have, Elijah, Carol, and the staff, they honor their work. Let me put it like that. We as a board have made ourselves available to help however we need to. When they need us, they reach out to us and let us know what they need help with. But they really take great pride in the work that they're doing. And it's almost like it's their baby that they're nurturing and growing. But we as a board have expressed that we are a working board. And whatever help that they need, we are available and ready to take that on. So I tell Elijah and Carol in our meetings all the time, let us know what you need. But they handle an inordinate amount of work, and we realize that. So I thank you too for bringing that up. I need you to make sure you're in every single meeting, okay, Dick? Anyone else? Any thoughts, any comments, any questions? I don't see any. Well, all right, since it is 2:30 and Derby Day, if there is nothing else, we can adjourn 30 minutes early, and I can give you some of your Saturday back, if no one has any objections. All right, thank you all so much for joining us. I appreciate your input and just your presence and just all you do for the Alliance. We are extremely grateful for all of your support.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your weekend.